Hello, my name's Catherine Summers, and this is a story I've written for a little girl I know called Nikki, whose mummy died. And maybe you know somebody whose parents have died, or maybe you've lost someone. Well, this story is especially for you. The Dead Parents Committee by me. Nick was 5 years old. She had brown hair and hazel eyes, and just sometimes she could yell very loud. However, today she was feeling very thoughtful and quiet. Nick got into the car, scrunched her eyebrows together and asked, "Do grown-ups cry?" "What makes you ask that question?" I asked, wondering how to answer. "Because grown-ups do cry." "My mummy cried," Nick declared. Her mummy had died a few months ago. To emphasise the importance and upside-downness of her feelings, Nick pulled out her spare clothes from her bag. She put her socks on her hands and her knickers on her head. Now up in heaven, Nick's mum Susie wasn't very happy with the state of things. She hadn't wanted to die, and she most certainly hadn't wanted to leave her little Nick, whom she loved with all her heart. It just so happened that up where she was, there were quite a few dead mums and dads who felt the same way, and they all got together over celestial tea and scones. Special ones, very fancy. "We'll form a committee and we'll go and talk to God," they declared. And that's just what they did. They all fronted up at God's office with its spectacular view of the world. "Yes," said God, looking a bit wary. "We formed a committee and we've got a complaint," Susie replied, with what she could be described as very firm eye contact. "Oh," sighed God, fiddling with his bow tie. He didn't much care for committees or complaints. Humans, he knew, complained a lot. Most of the time, in fact. "We want to know why we had to die and get taken away from our children, and we want to go back right now." "Oh dear me," said God. "Let me explain. You see, some people have short lives and other people have long lives. Just as some people are sad and sometimes people are happy. Just as some people are rich and some people are poor. Some people are sick and some people are healthy. Everything must balance out in the end. That is the grand order of things, the GOOT, Goot. If this were to go out of balance, why, there would be utter catastrophe." "But that's not fair." "Oh, I know," God agreed in his all-knowing and all-seeing voice. "Life on Earth isn't fair." He shook his head. "I'm very sorry, but you can't go messing around with the grand order of things. Just think of the chaos, the paperwork." The DPC, Dead Parents Committee, weren't at all pleased with this answer, but there was no arguing with God or the GOOT. That night, Susie, Nick's mum, sat up in bed with her celestial laptop. She had a plan and she put it to the DPC straight away the next morning. They all rushed immediately back round to God's office. "Ah, hello again," said God, lacking real enthusiasm. "What can I help you with today?" "Well," said Susie, "we know we can't go back, so we wondered if you could organise a few things for our children." Susie showed God her plan. Replied God, looking at her laptop. 1. That all through their lives the children would have special people pop up to help them and to love them. It might be a teacher, a grandparent, an auntie or uncle, a niece or nephew, a girlfriend or boyfriend, or just a friend. 2. That the children would get special signs, like on a spring day when a butterfly lands just nearby and shows its beautiful wings, or when a rainbow arrives in the sky, or when you look up at the stars at night and see a star shooting by. 3. That the parents' love, once given to that child, no matter how old they were, would always exist and could never be taken away or destroyed by anyone, even if it seemed like it was invisible to that child. God looked at the list, and he looked at the parents' faces. "We would like you to sign this," added Susie, boldly handing God her green biro. All the parents nodded in heartfelt agreement. And do you know what? God agreed, and he signed the paper straight away. Nick came to realise that love arrives in all sorts of surprising ways, and that just sometimes nice things happen to offset the bad and the sad. Nick knew that often these things happened because it was a dead parents committee organising things from heaven. Which is probably how you came to hear this story.